scientists! Welcome to the very first episode of Simply Science, where we talk about real, credible, actual research. It'll never be any information from the media or from organizations. It'll only be from peer-reviewed journal articles. Yes! Everything I say will always be cited, so look in the top hand corner for the citation number, and it will be down in the description below. I just want to do that so you can do your own research and get your own information, because nothing I say will ever be opinionated or biased. All right. So I'm sure you've seen a lot of information in the media regarding plastic bags. How they're taking over our oceans, how they're killing our marine and animal life, how they're producing so much waste. Some states and counties are even enacting legislature to either ban or tax the use of plastic bags. But is this really helping us in lowering our environmental impact? So let's look at the science. The first thing I want to talk about is life cycle assessment, or LCA. It's this amazing tool that's used in environmental sustainability that looks at a product from its very creation into its grave. So it starts from the extraction of raw materials from the environment, so actually mining for coal or getting petroleum, then to the production stage of the product, so it might be using electricity or producing emissions, to the actual transportation of the product. So where is it going? How far? What kind of transit is it using? Then it goes to the use phase. So when it's being used, is it using electricity? Is it producing emissions? And then actually to the grave. So is it being landfilled? Is it being polluted? Is it going to break down and release toxic chemicals? So it looks at this entire product life cycle. So LCAs can be used to compare different products and see which one overall has the worst environmental impact. It can even be teased out so you can look at which one has the worst polluting impact, which one has the worst impact on global warming, and so on from there. So today we're going to be using LCAs to actually compare the different types of grocery bags and see if those traditional plastic bags are worse than the alternatives that we use that are green. So back in 2009, there was actually a study that compared the traditional plastic bags made from petroleum to bio-based plastic bags that were made from corn. So I'm sure you're thinking, Nat, of course the bio-based plastic bags have to be better. They're made from corn, which is a natural, renewable resource. Well, that's not exactly what this study found out. So they actually found out that the bio-based plastic bags had a much higher impact on the environment overall than the traditional petroleum-based plastic bags. So you're probably saying, why is that? Corn, it's natural, it's renewable, it's a crop, it grows in our land. Well, there's a reasoning. So corn is actually a highly demanding crop. First of all, it requires a lot of water, which requires electricity to move it into the environment. Secondly, it requires the use of fertilizers and pesticides, and they can leach into the environment and actually cause toxicity in humans and wildlife and in the environment. Lastly, the creation of the bio-based plastic bag requires a lot more energy than the petroleum-based plastic bag. So you're probably wondering, why do I keep mentioning energy and why is that so important? So over here is a graphic from the U.S. Energy Information Agency. On here you can see only 11% of our energy comes from renewable resources. 89% comes from non-renewable resources. So non-renewable energy produces a lot of emissions and has a much larger impact on our environment. And so the more energy that you use, the more emissions and the bigger environmental impact you're having. So as you can imagine, actually having less energy to create the bag makes the petroleum-based plastic bag better for the environment. So what was really great about this study is they did a theoretical study comparing the two bags if they only use renewable energy. And they did find that the bio-based plastic bag had a significantly lower impact on the environment if we only use renewable energy, but we don't. They also stated that the pollution from the petroleum plastic bags was negligible compared to how much environmental impact is used to create the bio-based plastic bags. So you're probably thinking, Nat, you're just comparing two different types of plastic bags. What about comparing plastic bags to reusable bags? Well, there's a study for that. So a study done in 2014 compared the use of conventional plastic bags with paper bags, reusable plastic bags, and NWPP bags, or just a type of plastic bag that resembles a canvas bag. So first, this study, like many other studies, you can look here for the citations, found that paper bags are worse for the environment than any other type of bag. This is just because the paper industry is one of the highest emitting industries for air pollutants. So they also found that reusable plastic bags had the lowest environmental impact as long as they are used for 10 grocery trips. If they're not used for 10 grocery trips, then they actually have a higher impact than the conventional plastic bag. Then they found that NWPP bag also could have a lower impact than the conventional plastic bag if you used it for 34 grocery trips. So you're probably thinking, well, Nat, as long as I just use my bags multiple times, I'm going to lower my impact on the environment. Well, also did a study on that. So they did a population-based study that looked at consumer trends with using these plastic bags. They found that for the reusable plastic bags, on average, people only use them for 3 grocery trips, and the NWPP bags were only used for about 14 grocery trips on average. So as you can see, once again, the conventional plastic bag actually wins out. Now you're probably asking me, Nat, well that doesn't matter. I don't use any sort of plastic bag. I use cloth bags. So what about cloth bags? Well, don't you worry, there's a study for that too. So this study was done in the UK and actually compared cloth bags to the conventional plastic bags, and then also to paper bags and the NWPP bags. They found similar results to above with regards to the paper and the NWPP bags. So what they came up with, the cloth bags, was actually very surprising. So for the cloth bags to have a lower impact on the environment than a conventional plastic bag, you'd have to use it 173 times. To put that in perspective, that's over 3 years, almost 4 years, using the same exact cloth bag. So I hope you don't get any rips in it or you get it dirty, because if you don't use it for 4 years, you're still having a larger impact on the environment than the conventional plastic bag. Now you're probably asking me, Nat, if the alternatives to the plastic bags are actually worse for the environment, then why are we demonizing plastic bags? Well, I might have an answer for you. I think this quote from Professor Karma kind of sums it up best. He said, when we talk about banning single-use plastic bags, we're talking about littering. When people see plastic bags, it bothers them, and that's why society decided to act on it. But plastic bag and littering is the tip of the iceberg. What is underneath is much more scary. So plastic pollution is very visual. You can see it, and that helps you understand that there's an issue. But there are much more serious pollutants that are either dissipated into the air or soluble in water that cause much more harm when it comes to human health, wildlife, or environmental toxicity. We also love Band-Aid solutions. It's much easier to ban plastic bags than actually change our entire energy system to renewable energy. So right now, if you're saying, Nat, what am I supposed to do to help the environment? Well, I have a couple solutions that I think would be a little bit better than really worrying about what kind of grocery bag you're using. So first, all the studies agree that the best way to lower your impact, no matter what kind of grocery bag you use, is give it multiple uses. So if you use a conventional grocery bag, use it as a trash can liner, use it to pick up after your pet, use it to take your lunch. I know, maybe you're too cool for that, but I'm not. Just give it a second use, and that actually overall lowers your impact on the environment because you're not spending your money on different plastics. And same goes to the other types of grocery bags. Use your other reusable grocery bags for second uses. Use them to pack an overnight bag. Use them to take supplies or food to the office. Whatever you can. Give all of your grocery bags second uses, and that'll lower your overall impact on the environment. An even better way to lower your environmental impact is to conserve energy and water. So this means not running your dishwasher when it's only half full, not washing only one shirt at a time, making sure when your chargers are done charging, you unplug them, turn off all your lights. Whatever you can do to conserve energy and water will actually have the biggest impact on our environment. There's also this big push to just use less. So not anything in particular, just use less of everything. So use less plastics, use less water, use less energy, use less food if you don't need it. Anything you can, just use less of it. And that'll actually have a really big beneficial impact on our environment. And lastly, and really the most hard part, is to push towards renewable energy. It's better for us, it's better for the environment, and overall, it's gonna sustain us long term. And that, my friends, is Simply Science. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos just like this, please subscribe down below. Next week, I'm going to be talking about e-cigarettes or electronic cigarettes and kind of the health impact that they're having right now and the research that backs it up, of course. Thank you. Bye, scientists.